Nieuwe de Lamar Theater in Amsterdam is the new de Lamar Theater, but not Hedy Lamar. It's Fien de Lamar. She owned the theater. Her husband owned the theater. He was a
Her husband
producer.
owned the theater.
Her husband owned the theater way back in like 1920?
Yeah.
Somewhere along those lines.
He built it for her.
Yeah. He was a big producer. She was a mega star. So this was a power couple, and it was already bought by her husband, the producer. It was I believe a school or something, and
but he
built it into a theater.
He completely reconstructed it because he was a builder and with he was a legitimate builder.
Yes, producer in a larger sense. And so
he was only producer because he was with her and he wanted also to produce.
Yeah, so Wim Sonneveld bought it. By that time he must have already been quite famous and successful. He bought it. And then they were going to do the Nieuwe de Lamar. It was not. It was called de Lamar by the producer to honor his wife. And now it was going to be called the Nieuwe de Lamar. But Fien de Lamar never set foot inside the building. She was peed off immensely.
At the new building?
At the new management, at what they were performing. It wasn't her type. She didn't like it.
Yeah, she was a very, very specific lady.
Well, if she hadn't had oomph, she would never have gotten that far.
Quite.
So it shows you that there's a lot of, even something can be named after a person, it doesn't always mean the person is happy with it.
No.
But Wim Sonneveld was the biggest musical star for decades in the Netherlands. So.
And he had his own theater company, hence wanting to have a theater to go with it. We should be doing something about Wim Sonneveld at some point, but that's all you need to know about him.
Yes. So you walk into the Nieuwe de Lamar Theater and you see these huge portraits, and it's all of all these people. They're all there. And they're gorgeous, and of course there's the king and the queen and all of that, because Wim Sonneveld was in Beatrix, which is the former queen's queen mother right now, because Wim Sonneveld was a great
royalist,
fan, royalist.
Yeah.
So all of this comes together, and I walked into the theater, and I hadn't even thought about all these things, but I'd never actually been in it, and all of this was coming together, and I was like, of course. And it's super modern now. It must have been renovated multiple times.
After Wim Sonneveld, they did renovated it because it was falling apart, and they had to. So that
was the 90s.
Yeah, they completely rebuilt it, so it was closed for a long time.
And they took the building next to it. They merged it.
Yeah, they made it bigger.
And now the main theater hall is called the Wim Sonneveld Zaal, which is the Wim Sonneveld Hall. And that's where we went, and it is very pretty. It's beautiful. It does have the 1930s aspects.
It has the traditional theater aspects with the seats in this certain way and an upstairs and all those things that makes a theater because that is what it's supposed to be, and the tried and true way of doing a theater.
Yeah. Yeah. And the sound was beautiful. The stage was nice. It was
and big, but not too big. Because I've seen stages that were so big that they couldn't put the scenery in the right places. Yeah. But it was perfectly placed and just big enough to hold the scenery and enough people, but also few people can fill the stage. That's nice.
And that's something that the Netherlands theatre world has been different than most other countries, is that all the theatre productions are intended to go on tour inside the Netherlands. There's something like a mandate or whatever it was after the Second World War, is that all culture should also come to the people. So if somebody puts on a big musical, then normally in a lot of places you have a residency in a theater and everybody comes to you. In the Netherlands, no, they would do some residency and then they would tour the entire country. So what they brought and what they made for the decor would always have to be dismantleable, go into trucks, be driven, and also be staged on a smaller stage. So they can't actually go insanely large. There are a few larger ones, which is the one in Scheveningen, near The Hague. And there's a theatre there that is always an in-residence one. And they had Les Miserables right now. They've got Willem van Oranje musical.
Yeah. But
they also had Aladdin, and they had the Lion King stage production.
Yeah, and at least Les Mis and Willem van Oranje has been on tour. The other two I don't know.
No, the Lion King cannot go on tour in the Netherlands.
I didn't think. And that's fine. It's not culturally interesting for us anyway.
For this
but
channel,
this musical is absolutely culturally interesting for us. And my big peeve with, before we even started, is the original musical came out in 1977. In 1977 we were very, very small.
We were tiny.
And so we didn't go. But we were waiting for a revival, and apparently there was one in 2001, and we missed it because, for the simple reason that we almost missed this one, they don't advertise. Literally the only reason I knew this was going on, because there was an advertisement for Cabaret, which was also a revival of also in the Nieuwe, which is, they were doing that before, and then I sort of looked at it and it was going, Foxtrot, they're doing Foxtrot. We must go.
I actually got it on my feed on Facebook. So they are paying Facebook ads, and that's ideal, because who's at this moment who's even watching live television anymore? I don't watch commercials. Yeah. I don't have to.
and where I saw it wasn't live commercial, it was YouTube. So YouTube commercial.
Yeah, that would be even a better place.
But that was for Cabaret, not for Foxtrot.
Yeah.
I did not see any advertisements for Foxtrot at all.
I did. That's how I found out.
In secondary, when we started looking for it, I got there was some stuff, but you have to look for it.
Well, the algorithm will start coming up with stuff as soon as you even go. Yeah.
Yeah, but so we missed the 2001 revival altogether. We didn't even know it happened. The only way that we knew the musical is from the record. There is a record of the songs from 1977, and literally since 1977 I've been listening to it, and you stopped at some point, but I've been listening to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, my mother had these records, so it's like, then it's happening in the house. But after I left the house, no, I didn't.
I did, and the advantage of that is that we knew the songs.
I still know the songs by heart. I knew all the lines.
And then when the play started, the first thing I noticed with the opening song of Foxtrot is the most perfect opening song ever. Yeah. It does all the things that an opening song to anything should do. It just set the stage, give you information, put your mindset, not just, okay, we have these things, but put your mindset in it, put your emotions in it. And this song does all those things in a whole barrage of single terms that come up in 3 different languages. Because at the time, the Netherlands was it's 1930s, Netherlands was very cosmopolitan, We did the French, we did the German, we did some English.
It's set in Amsterdam, so it is intended as cosmopolitan.
It's either Amsterdam or Den Haag. I wouldn't be, or The Hague, I'm not sure. A big city, certainly, yes. It doesn't say.
It does say.
It does say?
She arrives in Amsterdam.
Not in that one.
Not in the other one.
So
this one.
The problem with this one is that very first song is full of all these terms, and we know the text perfectly. And the moment they change the text, which they did, we're gonna know. And they changed the text, and I was going, what the F? Because you don't change Annie M.G. Schmidt text. You don't, unless unless you have a very, very good reason. And as it turns out, what we were looking at is a revival of the 2001 version, which is after she is no longer here, and they reworked it some. And I'm going to have issue with that, because of course I'm going to have issue with that. We were with a third person, and the third person doesn't speak a lot of Dutch, so we had to prepare this third person. You're going to be watching that. we had some idea of what the story was going to be like from the record. It's very obvious. All the story is in the songs. It's all there. And so we were able to give the story and give a start. But then when they start changing stuff, that was... I don't think it is horrible, but it's taking away a couple of things that are unique to the story. There, in the story, two major things happen to this very innocent girl, and one slaps her on the head and one bonks her on the head and nearly knocks her out. I mean, it's that bad. And the suddenness of it makes the story. And if you soften the suddenness of it, and that's what they did, is they precursored it a little bit. I think we should probably go through the story from the songs, because the story is here. Version from 1977, the original. The 2001 redesigned by Henny Vrienden and Ivo de Wijs. They did some redesigning, and they wrote a couple of tunes that were in there, and they added some things that were unnecessary.
The first song is absolutely brilliant.
It's that opening song.
It's so, I mean, it doesn't matter if you just buried your cat, for instance, or if you're coming from a rush day of work. You get in there after that first song, you're ready. Yeah. It's awesome. And it literally starts with, "Hey, you just arrived in this theater. Sit down. We're going to do the 1930s. Here's the 1930s in 90 seconds or less." Yeah. And all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, all the whatever stuff. Yes. And it even says so, because it says, and whatever you got from this song it reflects the status that you have. What you had at the time. Yeah. And which in 1977... Because you wouldn't have known about the other things. In 1977, that makes sense, because it's 40 years ago. And actually, the musical makes a point of it saying it a couple of times, hey, it's 40 years ago, this was going on. 40 years ago is not time immemorial. Now it's starting to become time immemorial. 80 years is a very long time. Yes. And I think that's the problem what the revival in 2001 already had. It is now nearly 70 years ago. And it becomes a long time ago. And so they did, the revival, they did a lot of jiggery-pokery to, and recently in your review about The Girl with the Red Hair, you were speaking about that the Resistance Museum, which is about the Second World War Dutch resistance movement, is that, when we were growing up, everything was touchable in the museum. And now it's all behind glass. That means that now we're 40 years later, and we're, thank God we're like very far away from the Second World War. But it also means that it's no longer a touchable history. It is like, oh, look at that thing that in the past. It's not it's not asking to be recognized anymore. Yeah, and this is even another 10 years, 5 or 10 years earlier than that. The story takes place in the 1930s. Yeah. And nobody remembers the 1930s. And in 1977, they made sure that everybody put them in the right mindset, and that still works. And then still, every time you hear the song, it's full of terms you don't know, but you realize, okay, they're saying these names of these German entertainers. They're obviously entertainers, and some French entertainers and stuff. It becomes clear in that sense, but if you look it up, it's all real. And the dance Foxtrot it still exists, but that's almost the only thing of the entire song that we go, okay, that's still a current day thing that happens. Yeah. The rest of it, no, but there's unemployment. I mean, it's Great Depression. There's a threat of war. There's cultural influences from other places. Culture, and that everything's dragging down into extremism. Yeah.
There is in unemployment. There is a nuclear. Not a nuclear. There is a threat. There is a threat of war, and maybe I should go straight to. Oddly enough, the last song harks back to the first song, and then takes it to the now 1977. In 1977, nuclear was a thing. Nuclear warheads were a thing, and literally that song, that last song. Every single thing that is in there is still valid today. Again valid today.
Because what was happening in the late 70s was we're now moving into what looked like a more armed part of the Cold War that could always move towards a third world war. If some insane person hits a button.
Mm-hmm. And extremism was still is still a thing. Even in 1977, a lot of things. The extremism of the 1930s is still in the 1970s, is coming up again, and now it's coming up again.
Yeah.
And literally, it says the last line, one of the last lines of the song is, "Everybody gather around the crater because it's going to blow at some point. Every hour we come a little step closer to dictatorship, and it could be a left dictatorship, could be a right dictatorship. We don't know. By the cat or by the dog, we will get bitten." That's the text in 1977.
Yeah. Europe is still in between
the cat and the dog.
The left and the right. And, but in 1977, I was 6. Mm. And it was very simple, because if somebody hit that button, who would be dead first?
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Is that still the case? Very likely.
Yeah.
Europe is going to be the place where they're going to be fighting things. Belgium has been the place where they have fought everything. So...
And in the World War II, there's also a lot of fighting going on here. The other thing that was going on in 1977 is, in the lesser but also going on for a longer time, is abortion. The feminism was asking for a law on legalizing abortion in the Netherlands.
For safety of women.
For the safety of women. In 1972 they started. It got there in 1984, and this is in 1977. And Annie M.G. Schmidt, who wrote this musical, absolutely feminist. And so this story is about that as well. Combined with the fact that she had her own experience with unwanted pregnancy. And there you have your story. I think there's also we should talk about Annie for a bit. I didn't print anything out about Annie. We know about Annie. She was born in 1911 in the boonies in Zeeland, I believe. But to a good family, and she went to a good school, and then she ended up in the big city, and I believe it was Den Haag.
The Hague, yeah.
And she became a librarian there, and
she worked for the newspaper.
She worked for the newspaper, became a librarian, and the war happened, and after the war, she's still a librarian, and started to write. At the time, in the 50s, it was the thing to write fun rhymes for kind of nursery rhymes for grown-ups was the thing, with a little bit of zing and a little bit of all those things. And she became really good at it, and she got a radio program, and she got to write a lot. And as she went on, the radio program was really it was like a comedy show, was really popular, and somebody said, "Oh, could you," because at the time in theater it was the thing to put on a foreign plays, like My Fair Lady did so well in a translation.
In the Dutch translation, yeah.
Very excellent translation, by the way. And so somebody said, "Could you translate blah for us?" And she went, "Why would I translate something? I can write my own." And they said, oh, write your own. Okay, sure. And so she wrote a musical. It was called Heerlijk, Duurt, Langst. There's no way to translate the title, I'm sorry.
It's a pun.
It's a pun. And it was very successful, and so she went into musical production. This is her, I believe this is her third musical.
Yeah, you have to understand that she wrote the lyrics to the
Yes.
songs, but she did not write the songs. She had a partner, Harry Bannink.
Harry Bannink was her steady partner
Yes.
for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
A very brilliant writer as well, very prolific. He'd also wrote for other
Composer.
composer for other people, yes. And so I think this Foxtrot exists because somewhere in the late 60s they would have gone, Annie would have gone to a London theatre, because of course you go to London theatre, it's very close by, and she would be interested, and she probably saw Cabaret. And then she went, but I have my story of, why would we do a cabaret in the Netherlands because it's about German stuff? No. And I have my own story. How about I do that? And that's this. Is her own story reworked into a cohesive story. In her signature style, which is always try to put a bunch of people together in a house and then have them do stuff, which is basically what happens. It's what her comedy show was about, and her television show was also about that. That always works. It's insta success.
Yeah, she the Willem Nijholt was the Joel Grey of the of Foxtrot, but he wasn't that character. He was his own character, and so Annie Willem Nijholt tells the story, who has now passed away. But he told the story that Annie came to him and said, "I'm gonna write you, a nice gay part." And he said, "Oh, please don't." Willem Nijholt was gay, and of course that was never going to be like, you could never do anything public, you could never get married, all that stuff.
In
but he was
1977,
out enough that everybody knew that. And he said, "Don't do that." He said, "I don't want to play a screaming queen, and they're all caricatures when they write gay guys. I don't want to do that. That's not something I want to represent." And she said, "Don't worry, I'm going to write you a proper guy." And so they did. She did, and it is. I doubt that she changed anything on the part for what he said, but that just shows the representation that just wasn't available at the time. It's just like not even a gay guy would want to play a gay guy on stage because it was just written so badly. Yeah, and this is a fantastic role.
Yeah, and there is him and there is his partner in this, and neither of them are screaming queens. They're both just lads, and his partner
is a bit.
He's a gigolo, but he's not a screaming queen.
No. But he's also a jerk.
jerk partner is called Paul, and he is called Jules. And Jules is a very normal guy. He's actually the character is actually a teacher, a Dutch teacher, for Dutch as a native language, so literature and stuff. And he went to study for that, but because the 1930s have hit, he is now out of a job like everybody, and he's making do with whatever, which is of course singing on the stage, which is good for us,
with a random girl.
Yeah, a random girl that he keeps having fights with because she's quite a character too. Yeah. But he's very, very much a normal dude, and the gayness is completely incidental. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and in the boarding house they're all living in, everybody knows that it's not even a thing, and nobody's upset about it. There's no ribbing. It just is. he has his boy over or not over.
The only
the boy was living with him.
Yeah, the only ribbing that they get is that the landlady doesn't really like that the boy is over all the time because he's not paying any rent.
He's not paying rent.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
And it's the 1930s. People are trying this on. They're trying to get in more people into a room than really should be, etc.
The landlady also is getting stuff on because that's how the story starts. Our leading character Josien arrives in the Hague with probably the Hague with her dad and looking for. She's going to be staying in the Hague for a reason. I'll come back for the reason for a second because I have a thing about that. And she is 19. They say it, and she's supposed to stay there, and he wants her to learn German, and she wants to learn singing, and they meet somebody who turns out the dad already knew, but it's just they happen to meet her again, who happens to be this lady with a big title. She has a hyphenated title, and so the father is pretty impressed, but she's now running a boarding house, and that's why I
think they were probably referred to her. That's how I got it.
Maybe, but in both in the versions, in the version on stage and the other version that I'm going to talk about in a second, it's incidental, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, the thing that's important about Josien and her dad is that they are affluent.
Yes, but about the landlady is that the moment she sees him and remembers him being affluent, and he says, "Oh, I need a place for my daughter to stay." And her boarding house is absolutely full to the brim. She says to him, "Oh no, I have plenty of room," and she simply boots Jules from his room to the attic room and gives. Because he's paying 50, she now rents the room to the dad for 120, because she is also putting it on, and she also needs to make a buck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jules has no recourse. It's either that or the streets. I mean, of course he's going to be in the attic room.
But the attic room is so small that there is no room for Paul. So Paul does have to go, which makes the landlady pretty happy, but Paul not so happy. And it causes other problems along the way. But that's... first we have Josien arriving in her starry-eyed, very glassed, very frumpy outfit in the big city.
She's from Zeeland, which means a highly puritanical Protestant country. You're wearing grey long skirts and black socks. That's
very sensible underwear.
So you would never be wearing what we now see in the 1930s revival stuff. Is all this flashy? No. No. I mean, call her Amish and you're not much wrong.
Yes. But the people in the boarding house are... Because the landlady, Mathilde, the landlady, has lied to the father about the quality of the clientele in the boarding house. She said they were intellectuals and highly educated.
Yes. And hold salons.
Yes, indeed. And the only highly educated one she has is Jules, who did study Dutch, of course. But all the other people are show people, and I think one of the girls is a burlesque dancer.
At the most.
Yeah.
And on a good day.
A good day. Quite. So they get her into the best room, and Mathilde tells everybody to cool it, and this is your meal ticket. Also, she tells the Jules that he is going to be teaching her to Josien German, because that's what she wants to learn, and it's going to give him four extra guilders per I think per week.
Per whatever.
Which is pretty good. So he says yes. He has no choice. But so he sort of goes, I'm a Dutch teacher. No, you're teaching German now. Okay.
Now you're a German teacher, and she called him actually a professor.
Yes, to the father. Yes, she said he was professor at the college. Yes. Yeah. And then the girl Lisette, who is the singing partner of Jules, is also staying at the boarding house, and she is now roped into being the singing singing coach for for Josien. Okay, that's another 4 guilders per whatever.
Yep.
Hey, and she's very happy to take that.
Yep.
And so all of a sudden she is now a qualified singing teacher. So everybody's putting it on. And Josien is still starry-eyed and walking through the world like that. That's a problem.
Teach your children nothing, and your daughters will get knocked up, and your sons will
get swindled
on a good day, because on a bad day they're going to be the ones doing all the evil stuff. So.
Yeah. We go through the songs. So the opening song, and then we have Der Bergh, which is the German lesson combined with the singing lesson. She's being yanked from the German lesson to the singing lesson to the German lesson to the singing lesson to the German lesson. She's enjoying the heck out of it. Starry-eyed and everything. She's still enjoying it. And then, and this is where I was having an issue with the new version, is that there is a recording on YouTube of a 1993 version of this, the entire production. That's great. There's a couple of things that are great about it, and there's a couple of things that are bad about it. The thing that's great about it, it is before 2001, so before the reshuffle of things. The things that are bad about it is it's recorded on VHS by a very willing guy who's sitting up on on the left side, and the sound quality is atrocious, and everybody is this big. But it's complete, and I watched it today. And in that I could see that the reshuffling of events that the 2001 version did is messing up the pacing of the things that happen. Because what happened, if you follow the songs and follow the story as it happens, she is introduced to this world, it goes slowly, she's all kinds of things happening around her all the time. And one of the things that she starts to fall for Jules. Jules is such a...
he's
nice.
A suave language teacher.
He's suave. The only guy she knows from home, because she does have a boyfriend.
Yes, she has
Thijs.
a boyfriend. Thijs.
She has a Thijs.
Thijs is a name.
Thijs is studying to be a land surveyor. And he thinks that a gift to bring to her is a special cheese knife. Okay.
For your hope chest.
Anyway, also a hair.
Item
also, he brought a hair, dead, not skinned, not yes. Anyway, so Jules is a better prospect in
picture of a hair.
Dead hair.
Dead hair.
Dripping, blood drip. Anyway, Jules is a much better prospect, and so she falls for him, and she's there every day doing German lessons, so she's falling for him. Yeah. And she hasn't really said anything to him yet, but she talks to some of the other girls in the boarding house, and then one of the girls takes her aside when it becomes clear that her interest is, and says, "You do know that he's gay, right?" And she goes, "Gay? What is that?" And then we get, oh my god, and the song wat ik nou toch heb gelezen. The book I just read.
You wouldn't believe what I just read.
And she finds 2 books. And one of the books is about history and gayness, and it kind of...
Only gay guys. Well, yeah, almost only gay guys.
And it kind of leads her to believe that anybody who's brilliant has got to be gay. Artistic and brilliant. Oh, also interniste and
oh, yeah. Okay. Any sort of brilliance.
Any sort of brilliant, also gay. And she sort of goes, oh, I never knew that. And then the other book, she has only one other book. The other book was written by a Jesuit father. She's going, okay. And because she's a Christian girl, so good Christian girls, Jesuit father must be good. And he writes, priest. And he writes, this gay, it exists, but it is not really condoned. He says it can be cured with lots of repentance and the love of a good woman, and he implies a good Catholic woman, and she sort of goes, oh, would a good Protestant woman also do?
Yep.
And
this is how the BS stays in the world.
Yes, she does get a makeover from the friends at the boarding house. There's a lovely song, Maison Antoinette. Everybody trying on the hats at Maison Antoinette, and it ends up with everybody on the floor with lots of broken hats. It's a really fun one. Act 1 ends with the big bang number, because that's traditional, and with a big number at the end of your act. And niks aan de hand. There's nothing going on. There's no problems. What could there possibly be in the perfect Netherlands of Minister Colijn? And we already know historically Minister Colijn was the worst minister ever, prime minister. It's
that doesn't help.
It doesn't help at all.
No.
I love the 2026 version because I've seen some pictures of Willem Nijholt in that scene, because he's doing the singing of that one, him and the ensemble, and he is in a beautiful white suit, and they did it in this version.
Yes.
Beautiful black background and then a beautiful completely white suit. Oh, awesome! I loved this guy who played. We actually were going to the matinee, and so we saw the alternates. We saw Robbert van den Bergh as Jules, and he was really good.
He was excellent.
He was very, very normal, which I think is very important to be a very normal guy.
Yeah, he had a calm energy.
Yeah,
just a lovely presence. He was. He probably was 10 years older than he should be. You know, he should be like 24. He's probably 34.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
But it doesn't matter.
Since
he needs to be at least older than Josien.
Yes.
Which he is, and he's seen more, and he has his own problems.
Yeah.
And that's, his priority is not her, her whims. He's just like, oh, okay, you're good here, girl. Fine.
Yeah, and Josien was played by Teuntje Post, who does the entire run. It's not the alternate, so this is the main girl. She was wonderful.
Excellent.
Oh my God. And she has
Top-notch.
to be like this very young 19-year-old, and a little bit sharp, literally for the songs. You need to be not on key, you need to be a little bit pushing it a little bit, because you had Lisette, who is the official singer, and played by
Renée de Gruijl.
Renée de Gruijl, and she, the contrast of Lisette and Josien, Lisette being completely polished and Josien being quite raw, that works very well.
That whole threesome there is exactly as in Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
The same dynamic, the same distances, except that in this case the Swayze character is gay.
Yep.
So he's not going to go with her. Yeah.
Yeah, and then going down the landlady, who has quite a big role. She is very often a legacy player, because in the original in 1977 they had Georgette Hagedorn, who was already an older lady, and in the revival 2001 revival they had Jennie Arean, who was a big name. Mm-hmm. And here you had Gerry van der Klei, who played Lisette in the 1977 version.
Yes, and that was advertised.
Yes, and
so the whole thing, because I don't know Gerry van der Klei very well, I was going, gosh, she's still at it. So after all these years, she's supposed to be 80 something.
But we didn't see her.
It wasn't her, but she was still very good.
The lady that we did see was
Marjolijn is also
really
pretty
good.
much up there in age as well.
Yeah, and not quite as old as Gerry, but older, and she was really wonderful. I really liked her as well. Yes.
Yes, and they gave the Mathilde character a song of her own that's not in the original.
Yeah, that's because the 2001 revival, they had Jennie Arean, and Jennie Arean is so...
She is the singer.
She's the singer, but
she is legacy because Jennie Arean was in the other musical
in
by Annie
Nieuwe,
M.G. And she's that has songs that are still being played on the radio, which is epic.
Yeah, and so if you have an awesome singer, you have to give them something to do, and so they in 2001 and 2026 they borrowed from Heerlijk, Duurt, Langst, but different ones. They in 2001 they had the Oude Kat from that musical, and for this what they had Kleine Zwakke Vrouw. And what I have here is what somebody else wrote down, not what I wrote down. So some of it is I have questions, but I definitely heard her sing Kleine Zwakke Vrouw, which is definitely from Heerlijk, Duurt, Langst. Heerlijk, Duurt, Langst is absolutely chock-a-block full of belters for an older woman. If you ever have an older woman like Bette Midler, she could do this so well. That's the sort of thing. But this musical does not have that. We have other things in here. I like the fact that Annie always wrote her musical towards what she had available, which was for this one she did not have her belter lady, which was Connie Stewart. Connie Stewart was not available for this. And this is the only musical that she's not in of Annie's. But she had Willem Nijholt, who's a good singer and a good dancer, so she made good use of that. She had Gerry van der Klei, who was a good singer and a good dancer, also a good dancer. And she had this, at that time, young lady, Trudy Labij, who could do a young girl really well. So, hey, wonderful, let's go. And so it doesn't really have a big role for an older lady, because it wasn't written like that, so they put it back in. Okay, fair enough. The story goes on after at the start of the second act. Many of the versions actually put the niks aan de hand at the start of the second act, which is very fair enough. But the original...
Yeah, and really that for this era is the song, I think.
Yeah.
It is saying, oh, no, there's nothing going on. Everybody's happy. Or we're all going to be dancing on this volcano that, we're just going to pretend everything's fine.
Yep.
Because if we ignore it long enough, it's going to go away. No.
Yeah. And it starts with a party, and so the version that we saw, the 2006 version, doesn't really make clear what the party is. There was a kerfuffle with tickets and to this party, but the other version becomes a little clearer. It also doesn't say it clear enough. I think it's a New Year's Eve party, which were very big in the 1930s, and in
it could be. She's been there like 4 months now. It is because she's doing kind of a school year there. So now
they already had
a birthday.
They had a birthday party for her earlier, and now they have this party. And if you in the film Morgen gaat het beter, which was exactly that period, the big party is a New Year's Eve party. So that is that's a...
Because Christmas tends to be everybody at home. It's
but
never the office Christmas party.
This is a hoedown. Everybody in costume. Everybody go crazy on drink and booze and...
Yes.
And this is actually, this probably, like I said, I only have the title names of the songs. Something happened before this. She had her makeover, and then she goes to Jules and offers herself. And Jules says, that's not gonna happen. No. I'm gay. And she is upset, goes to this party. Jules is at this party dressed up. Paul is at this party dressed up. Everybody's at this party dressed up. Everybody gets completely drunk off their tits. And Paul sort of takes Josien to that away. And the next morning, she is upset because stuff happened that she may not have wanted. The 1993 version very strongly implies that it was not as consensual as it might have been. Which the 2006 version, 2026, this latest version shovels that under a... No, she's upset, and...
The 2026 version implies heavily that she knew it was Paul and that she went with him to revenge herself on Jules. And that would have been pretty damn stupid anyway.
Yeah.
But
and
okay, at least she wasn't raped.
Yeah, and I think the original she may have been.
Yeah.
So she's upset. She wants to go home. They talk her out of that, and a little time passes, and then she tells her friend, "I want to see the doctor because my period is late." Crap. And the friend says, because she again with her same naivete, she doesn't come to conclusions that she should be coming to, but the friend does.
Even in the song that follows, is that the line that the voice of the woman says, but I only did it the one time, and then the answer of the doctor in the song is, yeah, that happens, that can happen, and it's like, these girls weren't even told that it's always going to happen. I mean, every shot can be effective.
Yep, and the next question.
It's not like maybe, I have some chance. No, you have a very, very high chance.
Yeah, nature wants it to happen. Yeah. And then the next thing she asks the doctor says, "Oh, it's not convenient. Is there like a pill I can take?"
Yeah, that's referring to the morning after pill that in the 1970s they were trying to get that on the shelves and get the doctors to prescribe that. Which nowadays it's in the drugstores. And you go back maybe 15
everywhere.
Years. It was, you just go to any doctor and they're like, okay, let's just get you on a morning after pill.
But this doctor says
for unprotected sex.
But this doctor says, no, I don't have that. It would be illegal, and please leave now.
Yes, because if he's not upset over the illegal, he's going to be upset over the immoral, because the morals were stating that that's not your choice. You don't get to choose. It's nature has made this way, and this baby is coming whether you like it or not, because you don't get to say anything about it.
But she is not married, and then she says, I am not married, and he says, well, go get married.
Yeah, marry the guy.
Your cure is getting married, is what the doctor says.
Yeah.
Literally.
Not only is she going to have a baby she didn't bargain for, but she's also going to have to marry somebody that is just basically a random dude from the left. Just because of this. So her entire... Yeah, but that's the better option. Because the doctor was saying, marry the guy who did it.
Yeah.
And
marry Paul.
And that's in the song as well. It's like there's several voices of women saying, "Oh, I didn't know him. It was there was this night, and I never got his name."
And he had a blue hat on.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's even worse. Nobody warned these girls that you shouldn't do that for this reason. You can say it's immoral, God doesn't want you to. That's not the same thing as if you do this, there's a good chance that you will be pregnant just like without you planning it.
Yeah.
And therefore all these balls go around. So the entire world is set up for these girls to completely lose everything.
Yes, and so the plot does take her to, she should, the landlady talks her into trying to seduce Thijs.
Yeah.
But she's not the right type. She's just not the right type for it.
But the theory being that if Thijs comes over now, they do it in that room, then any timing that's going to be
for a baby. Yeah.
And we're already a month in, because she's noticed she's She's late. So it's already iffy, but it's doable. But if she waits any longer, then there's not going to be any moment that she can convince Thijs that it's going to be premature baby. Slightly premature. But 2 months premature, that's not slightly. That is no. So they need to get married now, and it just
or at least she has to take Thijs to bed so much that he feels obligatory to marry her.
Well, but but it was also to make sure that she has actually had sex with him in his mind.
Yes.
That the baby can be his, and just never talk about it.
Yes, exactly. That's the idea. That's the idea. So she doesn't need to marry him right now. She just needs to sex him right now.
Yes, that's why in the room right now with everybody downstairs. And she's only ever had sex once, and that was under a great deal of alcohol. It's not like she's been running around flinging herself at guys.
She's the wrong girl for this.
No,
so basically it doesn't happen. Thank God.
It could have. I think Mathilde was doing a decent job of protecting her, given the circumstances. Is that if she was into Thijs enough that she already was like, oh, wish we could have sex before marriage, then that would have been fine. But she didn't really like Thijs at all from any perspective.
He's a wet rag.
Who we don't even know how they became engaged. We don't know
they live
if
in
they like each other.
They go to the same church.
Yeah, that's
it.
really what it is. And she's 19, he's probably 20. And they probably got engaged like 2 years ago. So never.
The only thing they ever talk about is are the piglets in for Farmer Giles.
She did miss the piglets.
She did miss the piglets.
So then I was thinking, maybe country living is going to be good for her. No. But we know that Annie M.G. Schmidt did not like country living. She was out of there as soon as she could.
Yeah,
and
which takes us to what happened. She's not going to marry Thijs, and there's already been talk about what are your other options. She had advice from every female ever, and I think probably Annie included every advice she ever got, which was whole bunch of bad advice, anywhere ranging from to get rid of the baby, just fall down the stairs 20 times. Or take 40 aspirins, including the tubes that they came in. This is some of the better advice. There was worse, and it's all bad. And one of the advices was a back room abortion. Yeah. And there is one of the people in the boarding house who had one of those, and she says, "Oh, don't do that because I can't have any." It worked, but I can't have any children now. Yeah. And the other
such a botch job.
And the other risk you run is that the botch job can be so bad you're going to end up dead. And this is why in 1977 this is a very important conversation. This was the conversation of the day. We need proper abortion, legal abortion with proper personnel, and because we don't want dead women. Because that is not really good.
And that's only useful for the men and everybody else. But for the women themselves, it's also to have a choice.
Yeah.
Without having to beg, pay somebody in a back room and put your life on the line and your fertility. You just go to a doctor, have a proper conversation, weigh the options, and then do it.
The discourse right now, because again, this discourse has come around again.
Who knew that was going to become topical again?
Is that certain people think that women have abortions for fun? That's a thing, and this story shows you no. This is never, you don't do this, because she comes to the point where she says, okay, I can't have an abortion. I can't go to my father. I'm not going to marry Thijs. I can't stay on my own. I can't have this baby at all. What are my options? I can, she was thinking about maybe I can go to the river, jump into it. But I just got my swimming degree, so no, maybe
you might kick into.
I might survive. And she says, if I were a heroine in a movie, I'd have a gun and I'd do pew. But I don't have one. And if I were like Hamlet could go to be or not to be and do a big speech and then could take his time about it. I can't. And so she takes the only option, which is opening the gas main and lying down on her bed. She does write a letter, a little note, but she doesn't even know to who and what to write.
Not to Thijs.
Not to
Not
Thijs.
to Jules.
Not to
Not
Jules.
to her dad.
No.
No.
And she writes at the end, see ya. Oh, no, I shouldn't write see ya. This girl. This is desperation. This is not naivety anymore. This is desperation.
No. She has to grow up in the space of between like last month and now. Yeah. That's it. That's all she has.
Yeah. And that's why I think that making this ram onto her head in the story so really bang is the best way to do this, and don't precursor it. Just let these things hit her in the face, because that is the story. That's what happened. A story ends with Jules finds her in time, and they do get her to a disbarred doctor, but he isn't a proper doctor, yes. and he does a backroom abortion, but a good one.
Well, the implication is that there are doctors that decided that it was worth it for them to be disbarred, and then run their practice this way.
I think the reverse. They got disbarred and then they started, because they did it a couple of times.
Okay, so that they. Yes, so there would be doctors that got disbarred and then because of things like this.
Yeah,
but
it is still illegal.
In a way, free to help these women.
But it's illegal.
But it's just such a bad system.
It's still illegal. If he was caught, there would be criminal charges.
Yes.
So this is not the final solution. The final solution is legislation. 1984, full legislation on how to do it, who can do it
in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands. And in the States they had it, and they're blowing it up in bits and pieces. And so you're going to have backroom abortions again. Congratulations!
With all the dying and the infertility and yeah.
I'm just looking at my paper and it says niks on the hand. Nothing going on. No problem. Everything's fine.
Well, and that could be a double meaning. It wasn't maybe not just for the political sphere that was happening, but also for the world these people are living in.
Yeah, the blinkers they're putting on to pretend that everything's fine. Everything's
just the requirements of this girl by itself is yes, she is from an affluent family, so she is in a better position than any of the other women in this film.
She gets the better abortion because she is a higher class girl, and
because she found somebody who had contact.
Lisette had a contact, and basically she says that she knew a doctor who was good at making sure that girls don't have to kill themselves. That's what we said. But it's going to have cost money. I suppose everybody put money together for that.
All this was in Dirty Dancing. Exactly. And she did get a backroom abortion.
Yeah, and it did go wrong.
Extremely messy. And it was specifically mentioned in the film that they think she can have babies again.
Okay. Well, that's...
Because that was a concern, and that's 1962.
But only because baby got her doctor father involved, and he fixed it.
But that was aftercare.
Yeah, but aftercare is sometimes what you need to make sure that you have babies.
Well, I don't know. I mean, whatever the person did,
whatever was going on, but
we really don't want to know what the actual details of the. Yeah.
Okay, about the performance, I would have loved to see
Willem
Nijholt. Oh my God, there's a couple of bits of video, and I will have put some on here. They did some show performances. The performances themselves were never recorded, but he did some show stuff, and he did some stuff on television. So we have that. From the 2000
Foxtrot, like a medley.
Yes, a medley with Gerry Klei. I know there's a medley of all the main songs, and I don't think there's anything of the 2001 performance. Some pictures, I will put them up. Of this one, there is some stuff. The 2026. I will put some up here, and the 1993 version is like completely on YouTube. It is it is not as high class as these three. But it is more high class than MDRAM. It's not MDRAM. It's somewhere between professional and MDRAM, and I'm not quite sure where it sits. It's a Zoetermeer theater company in Harlekijn. But it's an entire thing. But the quality is not great. I'm sorry to say. I'll show you here.
Off the footage.
Yeah. I did enjoy it though. For what is there, I enjoyed it very much. Some songs we didn't mention was The Dutch Don't Dance. The text is, the Dutch don't dance, the Dutch don't dance. There are a few who do, but it gets too...
If they do, it gets too much for the other
Dutch.
Dutch.
They never get a chance. And Dutch don't ever dance. I like the Foxtrot a lot for including all languages. This is the only longer English bit, but they included the German lesson, and also German higgledy-piggledy, some French everywhere, because that was part of the time.
In Cabaret, it does that.
Yes.
Welcome, bienvenue, welcome. That's in that style. So it gets passed over from language to language. Most of it's not like the most important line.
No. It's just recognizable. Oh yeah, that was French and that was German, and the English. Yes, people are supposed to. In 1977, you're supposed to be able to. A Dutch person is supposed to be able to understand that much English, but they do switch onto Dutch from there.
Yeah, it's only
the verse, only the chorus. That's it. But. It shows that there's more in the world than just the Netherlands, and the threat of looming war is a constant thing. We didn't talk about Jules and his one song. Annie gave Willem Nijholt this beautiful song to sing. Sorry dat ik besta. Translate is I'm sorry I exist. About being gay in a entirely straight world that only has things for straight people. And he says, all I want is one song on the hit parade about Romeo and Julius, because it's always Romeo and Juliet. And I'm sorry I exist. I'm sorry that you know.
Yeah.
It's so
beautiful
song.
Well, I was thinking about this, that there's not a lot of that. There aren't really songs about Romeo and Julius. You have the tattoo, some lesbian songs, and
but they're still covered in
with an asterisk saying, okay, tattoo is also a little bit cancelled, but there's not really gay songs on the hit parade. I've not really lived in an era. I'm from 1971, so let's call that 5.5 decades. I've not lived in an era where there are gay songs in the hit parade.
No, the best you can get is a non-denominational song where the one and the other they're not gendered.
But that's like me and you.
Me and you, yeah.
And of course it's known for a portion of them which ones were intended as same sex, but it's just never happened, and I think Jules would be extremely disappointed. I think also Annie, the writer, will be very disappointed.
This one got to the hit parade.
Yeah.
So this one got to the hit parade. A couple of Annie's songs actually got to the hit parade, and
that's really sweet. But this is not a song about Romeo and Julius. This is a song about wanting songs about Romeo and Julius. So I just literally, considering how many songs there are in the world and how many end up on the hit parade, come on. It's time.
Yeah.
We need one. We need a whole bunch. We need like a portion, representing a portion of the population, 10 to 15%, please.
Yeah. And one of the lines is, he says, maybe in 40 years, in 1977, maybe in 40 years there will be a song on the hit parade.
Yeah.
And no, 40 years being, of course, 1977 from where he is, roughly. And so when we this latest version, they moved some of they left that one in, but there is a later reference in the last dance, in the last song, for stuff in 40 years, and now it is 90 years or more.
80. It's almost 90 from them. Yeah,
it's 90 years ago now, so you have to say it. And in the 1993 version, they also...
in de jaren 70 pakweg zijn we allemaal vergeten.
Ja, the text is something, and then in the 19...
Maar over 40 jaar...
but in 40 years, like the 1970s, we will have forgotten everything. So that is the 1977 version. But in the 1993 version, that's it, go for the 90s that we have forgotten.
Yeah.
But the moment you come into the new millennium, you have to change the lyrics. And I noticed...
Because you can't talk about the 2010s
no.
the same way you can talk about the 70s.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I noticed very much in this 2001 reshuffle and the 2026 version, of course, is that the most text changes were in Act 1, and whereas the music, all the lyrics in Act 2, apart from these little things, are exactly the same. Okay. Even a weird text where there's a couple of weird lines in it, and I already remember that from way back when. Right at the end, they're talking about the now time, and one of the things was the nuclear threats, more specifically nuclear warheads, which was the thing in the 1970s, and Annie says one line which is very strange. She says, de nieuwste boom is zo humaan. Al het leeft gaat kapot, de huizen blijven staan. Ja. The newest bomb is so humane. Everything living dies, but the houses remain. And
so it's not an explosive thing that destroys everything. It is probably more like a bio bomb of sorts.
I think she in 1977 she misunderstood a nuclear bomb that spreads nuclear poison. I think that's what it is. But they left it in, and I appreciated that all these versions left it in, because I think it's something that she misunderstood. I'm glad she misunderstood it, because that sounds absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Some of the things in this thing is meant to slap you upside the head.
Yeah.
In historical sense, in the feminist sense, in the gay a little bit, but still, for gay, he has this Paul, and Paul is a gigolo and a liar, and he gets Josien into trouble. And in the end, Jules knows all of this, and Jules takes him back.
Yeah.
He accepts him back as his boyfriend. And my God!
Yeah, and the sad thing with that is that shows Jules' sense of self, because just dump somebody like that is bad news, and allow yourself to be alone so that you're open for the next relationship. That's because if the time he spends with Paul, he's not going to be out there being available for anybody else that might be looking for a husband. Yeah. And he's husband material. He's clearly,
Yeah, but he's gay, so he needs to find another husband material in the gay,
Yeah. But
he's almost looking for a unicorn.
As long as he's taken, there's nobody's gonna interfere with that. So
the play goes so far as to have them kiss, a gay kiss on stage. Oh yes, in 1977.
Yeah, that was the point.
That was the point.
Yes. So Willem Nijholt tells the story that he had no problem. So they go on tour, right? We've mentioned this before. The big shows like that, even big shows like that, go on tour, They went all over the Netherlands and they had no problem with the gay kiss. Except
in the boonies, they had no problem. in the
boonies,
provinces,
they had no problem. Any old place somewhere out in no. And they were expecting problems. They were expecting like rotten tomatoes, being shouted at, anything. No, but in Amsterdam and in Rotterdam, they had problems. They got shouted at. They got booed.
Weird.
There lots of intolerance. So that was unexpectedly the opposite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now everybody clapped like mad. Everybody loved it. I mean, that at least, for all the problems that are left now, that one has, for the Netherlands, definitely.
That was always solved.
Yes, that is solved now.
Yeah. That is really
also,
not an issue.
one of the princes, I have to look up which one, was the patron of the Dutch gay organization. He's not gay. COC, but they all become patrons of everything.
Of everything.
And so they also included that. So that legitimizes it. And also COC is the longest running gay club in the world, I believe.
Okay.
One of the oldest ones. So that's...
I believe it existed already before the Second World War, and in the gay liberation movement from the US, which the UK then followed, so they were later, the gay liberation movement in the US started with Second World War, because the guys from all these different towns ended up together and realized that this
we're
is a
not
thing.
strange.
Yeah, you're not everybody is now sort of kind of alone in a town, and they're all together. So that's when that whole thing started off. Yeah. Well, when is the kiss? They were on this high, because the song is can we have Romeo and Julius, and so you have the staircase, and you've got the guy is already up the staircase. I saw him go up, by the way, in the dark, and I noticed that he was preparing to be up on that.
Because Jules was doing did the solo, and then Paul showed up at the end.
Josien is there with Jules, and he's starting to sing the song, and she's sort of like, but yes, but no, and then he moves towards, and there's the second floor, which is where her room is as well, but they're moving parts. Maybe you can have a photo or.
I'm not sure I ever have. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and so Paul was already up on that moving tall thing, and then they forget how the staircase came there, but
the staircase is on the rollers. There was a staircase on rollers on the side, and there was another piece on the side, and there was a large thing in the middle.
Yeah, so now they're moving Paul with a spotlight on him towards the middle of the stage, and they're moving the staircase, and he as Jules is singing on the stage, he just turns around and starts to walk up the staircase, and you see the lights just merge together, and then they're together really squished. I mean, it was so beautifully done. And there's no dancing or anything involved, but the choreography was absolutely beautiful. And then they end up together and staring in each other's eyes, and there's the kiss. So yeah, the decor pieces, they were phenomenal, and they also split apart, and there was one moment where Josien was there with one of the boarding house women, and they were making a plan to go to the doctor, and this woman gets up from her sofa, up on there's two pieces up there, and she gets up from the sofa, steps one step closer to Josien to like comfort her. That thing comes apart after like literally just centimeters after her foot, and I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah, but they know how to coordinate that. They do.
It's I was like, oh. Yeah, very well done. Yeah.
Yeah, the not the first time we saw decor pieces on wheels being used like that, because the other the Pride and Prejudice did the same thing. Was the couple of decor pieces on rollers, and you do whatever with it, and you just build up and change. And I think that's very smart, and it works. But yeah, you have to be very careful not to.
You have
move.
To be perfect.
Oh, you have to be perfect.
One time we were attending a play in, of all places, Milton Keynes, and with one of my favorite actors, David Soul, and we went there 3 times to the play, and we were marveling how like spot on it is every single time. It's just like It's all like choreography. And we spoke to one of the actors, and he said it's timed, like it's 2-hour performance, and it's timed to 30 seconds on either end. It's not going to be any more than 30 seconds because it's so well rehearsed and timed.
So you definitely know you're going to be home for dinner at so and so.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And the musical, of course, you have to be even more so, because if you're not in your spot with the light, etc., when the song starts, and
the more
barely
moving
a beat,
pieces you have, the more literally morphing pieces, as in humans, or as in decor pieces, the more complicated it gets.
Yeah.
And I do like that this was a very elaborate production, but I do realize that the 1993 production, like I said, not more than N-Bram, but not as good as this. And yeah, they have less moving pieces in that way. They did have a lot more people. They had a really large chorus line, and
nice.
But you can do this with a pretty small chorus line if you
in
need.
This one there was also one girl missing. And that may be because it was matinee, and maybe there's no understudy for the chorus line girls. But there was one girl missing because there were 2 ensemble dancing things that were happening, and there was one guy that didn't have a girl, and sometimes he was just like, doing the cool thing. It's like, no, I'm all right. And then jumping in again when there's something he could do. And the one other time he would just kind of keep moving until he could join in again. I just like looking at all the people, so not just at the main.
I do, but I have to say about theater, and I said it the last time, I'm going to say it the next time. Theater has no close-ups. I hate that theater has no close-ups.
Yes.
But I did like and appreciated this performance that that the girls, because the chorus line and the girls that were staying in the boarding house, were very different, colored and shaped. So even though no close-ups, you could still recognize them a little bit more.
Because you can't actually see their faces. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but there was one girl who was quite black, and there was one that was a little bit coffee, and there was a blonde girl, and there was Josien, who has a sort of dark brown hair, and Mathilde, who has a completely different shape.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to recognize, and I mean color coding in that way is very handy when you don't have close-ups.
I don't think they make theater though for people who have trouble like with perfect vision. They don't have perfect vision. I think they don't really.
They make sure that you can recognize Thijs being the slim guy, the father was bulky, and Jules was always wearing that same brown shirt with the white piping. And Paul was again another shape. You could definitely see.
And Josien's clothing and her dad's clothing, that was clearly they were coming from rich farm people. They were coming from the boonies. They were not. This is not how people in the city were walking around, wearing, and they just don't tell Josien. And they're never gonna tell that dad. But they're not telling Josien until Josien actually comes up to the other women and says, "Can you do me a makeover?" And they're like, "Oh my God, finally!" Because they just like, "Oh, this is so completely not in fashion right now. What you're wearing."
Yeah. What I appreciated about the 1993 version is that they actually do the makeover on stage. They take off all her clothes. So she's wearing the skirt and the blouse. And under the blouse she's wearing a flannel. And under the flannel she's wearing another thing. And under the thing she's wearing another thing. And this girl has like 7 layers on.
Yes, it was the Puritans. Absolutely.
God, I
mean, you're one step removed from the 1700s.
Yeah.
And that's a sort of an archaic thing as well that you wouldn't put in a musical now. You're not going to write a musical about somebody who is really from a super puritanical church. You could, but it would be an exceptional story. In this case, she was just from Zeeland. Which is just, that's everybody there was dressed like that.
Yes. The place is named, it's Klaaswaal.
Klaaswaal.
But that's made up. The reason that the whole thing works is because this is about Annie herself. Annie came from a Klaaswaal kind of place, and she had an experience like this. The gay part of the story probably not, but
yeah, she fell in love with a gay guy.
But at the same, was it the same event? Where she also got pregnant? I don't think so. So the stuff that that's combined, that wasn't, but that's fine.
That's not.
But what it is a real story. It really happened in bits and pieces, and that makes it very real. That's what makes the emotion real.
I think that has longevity, because once you have a story about stuff that actually happened to a person, told in a really, really well way, because you do have to wrap it up so that people can actually take it in.
Yeah.
And then you have something that can be redone over the ages. Hopefully, a couple centuries from now, they will still be performing this.
Yeah.
There's still cautionary tales in there that are extremely important.
And the setup with the opening number, but also the closing number, the opening number gives you enough to work with. It is the advantage of having something that was written in a different time than when it's set, that you are forced to preface it. And this is the best preface ever. This is a preface for the ages.
Yeah, and what I like about this is that it's setting the stage, and they literally say that. We're now setting the stage for the 1930s. Let me tell you about the 1930s in the Netherlands. This is what it was like. These are the concerns of the people. And because you're doing that, you can now tell a story about a girl who is getting unwanted pregnancy, falls in love with a gay guy, all this stuff. Trying to get away from her family, even that, like trying to become a person unto herself. Because that's the story. The story is not look at this time. Because there's plenty of movies that do that. And we also still need to have a person taking us through the time, but then it would be a lot less personal.
Yeah. And possibly a lot less interesting. Let's end all of this with a little bit of fun. One of the silly songs in this is called The Pompadour, also known as Dat Ene Moment, That One Moment. The love song between stage Jules and stage Lisette, because not really, but supposedly, and it starts with a meeting in an elevator, and did you drop your lipstick? Oh, there you go, and it goes slowly, and then it starts to go, oh, but that was fun, dance, fun, dance. It is very bipolar. Kind of. And I think this time was very bipolar. It's very we should be feeling this, but we're going to pretend to be funny and to happy. Dance. Charleston, Foxtrot.
There's so many films from the 1930s that are that. They're all like chatter, yay, everybody rich. Everybody's poor. Sorry, everybody's going to see these movies are dirt poor.
Yeah. And so it's a complete fake, and the thing itself is a fake, because Jules and Lisette are not a couple, and they're supposed to pretend to be a couple on stage, but they're not. In fact, they don't. Jules doesn't like performing with Lisette, because Lisette keeps slapping her boa in his face, and then when they do the dip, she dips too low and he can't get her up. Because he's not that strong. I mean, this guy was stronger, but Willem Nijholt is medium strong.
He was a sturdy guy,
yeah. So they're fighting on stage, and I think this shows this time very well. It's a mess. It's a big effing mess.
Yes, not something you would aspire to go back to.
No.
Nobody's going to be nostalgic about the 1930s.
No, not really. No.
No.
Not if you really look at it. I mean, the idea of it, but no. If you ever get a chance to see it, I hope to edit this before the end of the run. The end of the run is end of July in the Netherlands.
2026.
2026. If you don't...
Otherwise might be another 25 years.
Yeah, or some...
Hopefully not. I hope that they're going to record it and put it on a disc or streaming or anything like that.
Yeah,
they never do, but I can keep hoping.
Yeah, you can keep hoping, but no. Highly recommend it. It is one of the best musicals.
Yeah.
Of Annie as well. This is I think is her best musical.
Yeah, and I love En nu naar bed. Go to
yeah,
bed
but
now.
It's a little weird.
It's so good.
It is really good, but
maybe we'll do that sometime as well.
It doesn't have some of the advantages that this one has. This one has that punch, and it has the time, and it has the preface, and it has all those things. I loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
More, please.
Yes. Keep them coming. So I hope the run gets extended. I hope everybody gets a chance to see it.
And it doesn't really matter. All the actors were good because we saw the alternates. They were wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, and we need some of these songs back on the radio because they are timely.
Yes, they are.
They are pertinent.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my opinion.
And my opinion.
And we're sticking to it.